We have been a lot of places in this game. Some sad, some unbelievable, some creepy. Scary, dark, deathy, dangerous. In this video, I wanted to go over a few of the creepiest stories in Fallout 76. I'll be giving the short version of each story, but each segment has its own dedicated video on my channel already if you want to hear the full story. The first creepy story is centered around Huntersville, and really scratches my government conspiracy itch. As we learned in my video about WestTech, Huntersville was ground zero for WestTech's FEV experiments. The citizens of Huntersville were slowly becoming ill. The weak and young were affected first. In order to complete their experiments, WestTech would send army personnel to the doors of Huntersville residents and collect the sick. Here is a recording of that happening.
Who is it?
U.S. Army, ma'am. Open up, please.
What do you want?
Just open the door. Sherman.
Yes.
On behalf of the U.S. Army and WestTech, you're hereby ordered to hand custody of your child, Dalton Sherman, over to us immediately.
What? Over my dead body. He's sick. He's not going anywhere.
You have no choice. Where is he, ma'am?
Hell, I don't have a choice. You're not moving that child 1 inch, or so help me,
Ma'am, if you don't move aside right now, we'll move you ourselves. Do you understand? Put down the knife, Miss Sherman. I won't ask again.
No! Get out of my house! Dalton is only sick! You'll get better! You people can't take him like you took the others! You can't! No! I won't let you!
Hold it! Hold it! God damn it! Corporal Gibbons. Put her in the body bag. Private Zaleski.
This story about a government facility poisoning the water supply of a small town, then knocking on doors and kidnapping kids, really seems like an episode of The Twilight Zone, and is really creepy without having to resort to blood, guts, and monsters. Speaking of blood, guts, and monsters, the next story is about the WendiGo cave. This cave is all about the adjectives I used at the beginning of the video: dark, deathy, and dangerous. Near the end of this cave, we start to hear about Morris Stevens and his wife Eddie, both belonging to the Gorman's Raider gang. If you have ever been to the Bolton Greens, you would know that these raiders dined on human flesh. After becoming endlessly hungry, Morris and his wife ventured to WendiGo Cave. Next to what looks like a female skeleton, we can find a note. Morris hunts people from the road, but he won't share the meat. I've been living off the scraps, but the toenails keep getting caught in my teeth. Now he's starting to look at me strangely, with hunger in his eyes. He's changing. We both are. Question is, who's going to feast first? Eddie. In this note, we get some gory details about what it would have been like to eat human flesh. Eddie's body is surrounded by rotting meat chunks. Next to some of those piles, we can find a holotape labeled Morris's End.
Darling Edie, oh, how delicious you were. The sweet taste of your flesh as it passed down my throat. Oh, the syrupy warmth of your blood as it filled my stomach. She's dead. I killed her. I ate her. Oh, no. But I had to. I must eat. So hungry, starving. Need more flesh, more blood. blood. Need more. Find more.
Out of all the locations in Fallout 76, WendiGo is filled to the brim with story and character, and it's one of my favorite locations in the game. Next is a lesser known story. The Sickle Man is the longest running mystery in Fallout 76. Just a quick walk east of Vault 76, we find a rather unassuming cabin. Just back from an overhang, we can find a small opening that goes under the house. Underneath, we can find a pile of headless skeletons. Turning around, we see scrolled on a wall, "Sickle Man was here." On a shelf, we can find Sickle Man's sickle. From this concealed space, we can make our way up into the house. We don't find anything really remarkable up here, but heading out on the deck and jumping up onto the hot tub, we stumble across the heads of those skeletons. So who was the Sickle Man? What was this location trying to tell us? Well, I never came to a solid conclusion, but I did find an old folklore story based in Appalachia that this location may have been based off of. Here is that story.
In an old homestead near Mount Harmony, West Virginia, 150 years ago, lived a beautiful young woman named Mary Meadows. Every man for miles around wanted her for his wife, but she only cared for Tom Dixon, who, like herself, was young and handsome. The wedding day was set, the big cabin was made ready, and the marriage took place. The young couple seemed to be ideally happy. Some of Mary's many admirers were very disappointed over her choice of Tom Dixon. One man especially seemed broken-hearted. His name was Jack Wilson. He was an odd person who never forgot anyone that got in his way. As the months passed, he got worse. He wouldn't talk to anyone, was always in the woods, and people saw less and less of him. Soon, he was type of a wild man, bearded and dirty with clothes and rags, and eyes that had the look of a maniac. One day, Wilson saw Mary in the town of Fairmont. Knowing that Tom Dixon would be home alone, he crossed the river and took the road that led to Mount Harmony and the Dixons' farm. Along the way, he stopped in a nearby woods and retrieved a sickle that he had placed there long before. Like some wild animal, he crept up on Dixon, who was hoeing corn in his big cornfield. However, Tom's dog saw him and started to bark. Tom looked around just in time to see the wild-looking madman coming at him with a sickle. He started to run for the house. With Wilson close behind him, he had got as far as the well when he tripped. And before he could get up, Wilson was upon him. Now, he had to fight for his life, and some fight it was, but he finally took the sickle and with one big swing cut off Wilson's head, which rolled into the well. Horrified at what happened, he carried the body deep into the woods and hid it under the brush. He never said anything to his wife about the fight, and even killed a young pig and threw it into the well to keep anyone from using the water. 2 weeks passed. No one missed Wilson so much because of his queer ways. He was believed to have left the neighborhood and was soon forgotten. However, he was anything but gone, and soon everyone was to know of him in a different way. Without any warning, Tom Dixon, who in 2 weeks seemed to have aged 20 years, sold his farm, took his wife, and moved to the far west, never to be heard from again. The new owner of the farm was a very good man by the name of Salters, who soon moved in. This was the story he told. Every night, when the moon was full, he would hear a deep voice call out from the woods, "Where is my head?" From the down in the abandoned well, a burbling answer would come down, "Down here in the well." Then the voice in the woods would say, "Where? I can't find the well." Then after a short pause, the voice would start all over again, and the conversation would be repeated over and over all night long, until the full moon would disappear the next morning. This went on for years. Salters moved out and nobody would live in the house any length of time, and the farm was soon reclaimed by the woods.
So obviously, this short story isn't direct inspiration to what we find in-game, but I thought several of this story's themes matched too well to conclude that they are not connected. Continuing the long-running influence of H.P. Lovecraft in the Fallout games, the story of the Interloper and Lucky Hole Mine is next on the list. Approaching Lucky Hole Mine, we can find some ominous totems placed in between some trees. Entering the mine, we can find a terminal. On it, we can hear about some strange happenings when the mine closed. Strange woman. This old lady came by asking for a tour of the mine, told her no, place is dangerous, but that just made her mad, kept muttering something under her breath, had to get the Protectrons to escort her out. I'm going to make a call to the Allegheny Asylum, see if they had any escapes recently. Poor woman, hope she gets help. From the sounds of this, it sounds like this mine was still in operation when this entry was entered. And we know from my video on Fort Defiance that the Allegheny Asylum was evacuated before the Great War. Closing up, word came in to shut things down. About time. Hate to see another mine close, but this one's tapped out. I was coming back from shutting down the pumps when I felt someone watching me. That old lady again. But this time, she was with a couple friends. They asked again about the mine, wanted to see the depths, wanted me to show them. God help me, I ran. Break-in. I don't know why, but I had to check on the mine one last time. Sure enough, the locks we put up have all been smashed open. Look, we don't want it. The mine, it's yours now. Just stay down there, alright? Don't bother us. We won't bother you. Deal? Heading into the mine, we can find pieces of paper with cryptic messages on them. Moving lower, pushing past some vines, and walking underneath a ceiling of antlers, we can find a secret chamber holding the interloper. Sitting in front of it, we can see a pile of skeletons and mason jars. We can assume these people came with the woman that we heard about on the terminal. The mystery of the interloper is still not completely solved, but the mystery and death around this location is really what makes it creepy. Alright, I hope everybody enjoyed the video on some of my favorite creepy locations from Fallout 76. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. Also consider following me on Twitter. It's the best place for me to keep in contact with you guys. But anyway, this has been WendiGo TV. Thanks for watching, guys.